I'm your host, Emma, and I'm super excited for today's craft. Today we are going to be making these awesome camp bags. This is an awesome way to be using old camp t-shirts or maybe any other old t-shirt you might have laying around if you don't have any camp t-shirts that you aren't using. Alright, some supplies you're going to need for this craft is, of course, your old camp t-shirt or whatever t-shirt you have. This one's from Snow Camp. You will also need a pair of scissors. If you have fabric scissors, that works great, or a pair of craft scissors also works awesome. And then lastly, you'll need some supplies for tracing. So we've got a paper plate here and a permanent marker. I'll give you guys a second to go and grab your supplies, and we'll be back whenever you're ready. Alright guys, so the first step to making our bag is we're going to cut off our sleeves. So my trick to doing this is we're going to fold over our t-shirt. Fold it so that everything is lined up perfectly. If you need to pause this and go and do that just to make sure that everything's even, you can go ahead and do that. We're just going to be folding it so that everything lines up perfectly, so then we cut off our sleeves. They are cut off evenly. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and cut off the sleeves. So we're just going to take our scissors. If you're lined up just with the seam, that works perfectly. I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Alright, now that the sleeves are cut off of our t-shirt, we have this cool muscle tee. If you want to just leave it at that, you totally can, but we are going to continue using this t-shirt to make our camp bag. Alright, so this next step is we are going to be flipping our t-shirt inside out. So you can go ahead and pause this video and do that really quickly. Alright, so now that our t-shirt is flipped inside out, we are going to go ahead and trace the inside of our t-shirt so that we can cut the opening of the bag. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your plate down just as kind of a reference as to where you want the opening to be, how big you want it to be. So you can go ahead and pause this video, kind of figure that out, and then we'll go ahead and trace it. Alrighty, so now we're going to go and trace our t-shirt. So just hold your plate down and just follow the plate with your marker. Alright, so now that we've got our line traced, we're just going to flip this around and use this line to cut just sort of the neck opening of our bag. And once you cut that, these two armholes are going to be the straps for your bag. So once you cut this, it's kind of just a bit of a reference point as to where the hole for your bag is going to be. So if you want to go ahead and fix that, maybe make the straps just a little bit smaller, you can go ahead and pause this video and do that. Make sure you're getting both sides of the t-shirt just so you don't have a hole on one side and nothing on the other. Alrighty, so now that we've got our neck cut, you can go ahead and trim it however you like. Just keep in mind that these are the two arms for the bag. So for me personally, I'm going to go ahead and just trim these little parts. And then once that's done, we will move on to the next step. So you can go ahead and pause this video. So for this next step, we are going to be using a book. Here I have my picture Bible, so you can go ahead and pause this video, go and grab a book, because we're just going to be measuring the depth of our bag. Alright, so now that we have our book, we're just going to kind of line it up with how deep you want your bag to be. It's totally up to your preference. I would like my bag to be about this deep, so we're just going to take our permanent marker. Be careful not to hit your book as you're tracing, but we're just going to draw a rough line just below the book, just to measure how deep it's going to be. So you can go ahead and pause this video, draw your line, and we will be back. All right, now that we have our depth of the bag decided on, we're gonna go ahead and cut some fringe. So how you're gonna do this is you're gonna take your scissors, cut up the side of the bag, and then how I decide how wide my fringe is going to be is I just take a thumb width. So I put my thumb down, don't cut your thumb obviously, but just kind of guesstimate how wide you want it to be. About 3/4 of an inch to an inch should probably be good. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut all the way through. Make sure you're cutting both sides of your t-shirt. All right, so we're going to first off cut just up the side of your t-shirt, just up to that line right there. Do that. And then taking your thumb, you're gonna be like, all right, probably about that much. Make sure you're both sides of your t-shirt and just cut all the way up to that line right there. And just keep on doing that. Try to keep them as even as possible, but if they're a little bit different, that's totally okay. All right, we're on the last piece of fringe, so be sure when you're finishing it off just to remember to cut up that side of the t-shirt, just up to that line, and we've got all our fancy fringe. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna be tying some knots. So how we're gonna do this, it's a bit complicated, but you know, go back as many times as you need, pause this video. If you need help, go and ask for help. But we will get through this together. So what you're first gonna do is you're gonna take these two strips that are together, and you're going to tie a knot. Just like that. Maybe double knot it. That's not a double knot, it's just a regular knot. You're gonna tie a knot, and you're gonna do that 2 more times. So we're gonna tie these ones together. Just like that. And then this last one. So you have 3 knots. We'll have 3 knots. So now that we have these 3 knots, you might see that you have a bit of a hole in between your knots. And we don't want that in our bag. So what we're gonna do to keep that from happening is we're going to take our middle knot, these 2 little guys, and we're gonna take one side and we're gonna tie it to the left side of our knots and tie a little knot there. Obviously, I'm not the professional at knot tying, but that's okay. And then with our other middle strand, we're gonna tie that to the right side of our knot. So just take one of those. There we go. And then with your next strand, you're just gonna tie that in a knot. Doesn't have to be fancy, as long as it's tight. This will be the bottom of our bag. You're now going to take this strand and take it with your right side and tie a knot. All right, so what you're gonna do now is you're just gonna continue doing that. So if you need to replay this part of the video and keep on doing it, go ahead, but we're just gonna be tying 3 knots and then tying them together. But we finally made it, and now we're just going to flip our t-shirt inside out, just like that, and boom, you have your very own camp bag. So you can use this for all of your summer necessities. You can throw your book in here, your sunglasses, and you're good to go. I really hope you guys enjoyed this craft time. If you made it, be sure to send any pictures you have to this email, and we will be sure to post it on our social media for Family Fun Friday. Thank you for joining me for Arts with Emma, and I'll see you next time.